Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40k Universe. I am your host Gershwin and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue taking on more Space Marine chapter requests with everybody's favorite, Angry Marines. Now if you guys have any suggestions for any Space Marine chapters that you guys would like us to create a video for, whether they're real or not, or I should say whether they're fan-made or not, please comment down below and we'll get to it. So let's get into 40 Facts About the Angry Marines. The Angry Marines are a fan-made Space Marine chapter that are in essence what would likely happen if traditional gamers would magically turn themselves into Space Marines and express their opinions toward certain aspects of the canon of 40k. By far they are the most famous homebrew chapter to gain fame outside the forums. They are angry for the Emperor and Skittles, yes Skittles, like all the fucking time. Angry Marines' tactics focus on getting into melee as quickly as possible, and proceeding to bust open several crates of fuck you in various directions of the Imperium's enemies. Angry Marines tend to have low ballistic skills. By low, we mean orc boy low, but have terrifically high weapon skills, strength, and initiative. Angry Marines tend to have low ballistic skills. By low, we mean orc boy low, but have terrifically high weapon skills, strength, and initiative, meaning anybody getting into close quarter combat would be utterly annihilated. There is even a codex, the Angry Marines Codex, detailing the special rules required to adequately represent their rage. The Angry Marines employ a variety of weapons, notably different to the standard Space Marine arsenal. These include power-heavy bolter dual power fists, power feet, power bats, power wrenches, and even the Predator Angrenator, a modified version of the Predator Whirlwind artillery tank that fires the Angry Marines themselves directly into the enemy ranks. They also possess a Titan Legion, which is fully comprised of Angry Titans. The Angry Marines also think that pistols are for faggots who can't hit worth a damn, and so these Marines rarely never go into battle without the traditional pistol close combat combo, opting instead to engage opponents in melee combat. Even when not in combat, the Angry Marines are so goddamn angry that even the words of their out loud speech seem to be made up with a caps lock key left on. As such, they are sometimes despairingly referred to as the Tourette's Marines, when fucking retards are unable to separate between seething anger and cursing. Average Space Marines feel emotions with a strength that normal people cannot even comprehend. The Angry Marines feel rage to an extent that leaves other Space Marines entirely speechless. You think you've been angry before? The most rage you've ever felt is like a minor annoyance compared to what an Angry Marine feels all the time. Some believe that the Angry Marines are loyalist world eaters, but this is merely one of the many theories floating around. Another theory is that they are the missing 2nd or 11th Legion, but it is not known what the Angry Marines think of this statement. In fact, whenever someone asks an Angry Marine about the chapter's founding history, the one asking the question is given a swift, forceful kick to the balls with a power foot. At present, the prevailing belief is that like the faggoty-ass Pretty Marines, the Angry Marines are our first founding chapter, and used to be the 11th Legion. However, due to Rowboat Girly Men's accidentally hitting the backspace key when he meant to copy and paste something while typing up the Codex Astartes, the 11th Legion was stricken from official records, as were the 2nd Legion. The most astonishing thing about the Angry Marines is that they need no testosterone to be in as foul a mood as they are, despite the fact that like all other Space Marines, their ability to produce sex hormones is completely removed as part of their introduction. They are still very much able to act as if their blood was all replaced with testosterone, just as planned. There are very few things that the Angry Marines actually like. There's the Emperor, of course, and also cats, and possibly Skittles. Definitely Skittles. Angry Marines are also said to have a predilection for energy drinks and most anything resembling a kudril. They hate the Iron Hand slightly less due to their intense self-hate and anger. While the Angry Marines may hate pretty much everything else, there are also those things that will cause any Angry Marine to fly into an unfathomable berserker rage in mere seconds. This includes the Eldar, the Dark Eldar, and anything related to elves. Angry Marines see the regular space elves as faggots, and drug-added space elves are dickish faggots. and elves are prissy faggots. Angry Marines have always known that the Tau are weeaboo cocksuckers, and they hate the Ultramarines for being a bunch of pompous douchebags, Mary Sue. They may also hate the color blue, which makes sense since blue is said to be a calming color, and this is the Angry Marines we're talking about. They believe the Emperor's children are a chapter of faggots who defected to chaos and still bear the name of the Emperor. That makes them triple faggots. Angry Marines hate the World Eaters because what they try to pass off as anger is really just male insecurity in the extreme. Chaos faggots like the Demon Primarchs, who hide from the Angry Marines in the Warp and won't even show up to get their testicles kicked up between their ears, are the worst kind of pansy-ass chaos faggots there is. Thousand Sons are chaos worshippers worshipping Tzeentch, and they are fucking psychers, which are basically faggots with greater range. That makes them triple faggots too. Angry Marines believe chaos as a whole is a fake and gay shit. There are some things the Angry Marines desire to happen, and if they did, it would make them slightly less angry, but nowhere nearly enough to make them less destructive. These include that the stories for Warhammer and Warhammer 40k actually start going somewhere, and not being stuck in the status quo. The end of times was a good progress until the Age of Sigmar happened. Angry Marines wish they could be canon. They wish for a Warhammer 40k space shooter flight sim game, and wish to beat the shit out of all squats and non-squat players. One of the Angry Marines' most notable campaigns was the Friendly Fire incident of Locust 7. The records of this dire moment in Imperial history were known only to the 2 Space Marine chapters that took part in the skirmish. However, only by putting the 2 records together is the truth found. The Pretty Marines tell of a conflict fraught with glory against the odds and of a dire betrayal. Prior to the sortie against our enemy, our glorious chapter master graced us with a speech. With elegance he spoke before the lines of the brother Marines. Sparkling under the twin suns, he recounted for us the beautiful victory, and of the fates of our enemies, as we cheered and as we awaited his inevitable dance number. But from the skies fell a drop pod, smashing into our forward lines, and engulfing the area with a thick dust. It took us only a moment to clear the air with our blow dryers, but it was a moment too late. The chapter master was lying down onto the desert surface, face first. The Angry Marines tell the other side of the story, though in far less words. Hastily inserted into the books of their chapter's glory is simply a picture with the word owned across it, and the image of a Pretty Marine chapter master, unconscious on the ground, a crude mustache drawn on his face with paint, and what appears to be a set of testicles on his forehead. So began the greatest internal feud within the Imperium. Of the many Space Marine chapters that protect the good citizens of the Imperium, none are so well represented nor admired as the warriors of the Ultramarines. Such is the greatness of their deeds. Their stories are told on innumerable worlds. Their reputation as the saviors of the Imperium of Man is both well-deserved and proven, time and time again. Indeed, such is their martial prowess, that even other Astartes can only but compare themselves forlongly inferior to those that hold Guilliman's gene seed. This does, however, occasionally lead to friction among some of the other chapters of the Astartes that are still stubbornly refused to yield to the wisdom of the blessed Codex Astarte. Such antagonism is best illustrated with the anecdote from an instance when the Ultramarines encountered an obscure and ill-recorded chapter whom records merely identify as the Angry Marines. The Angry Marines had apparently chased a Tyranid splinter fleet into Ultramarine space, to which they brought absolute devastation. Impressed by their sheer ferociousness, the blessed Calgar offered an invitation to their chapter master, a man identified in the records as only Temperas Maximus. The invitation to meet with their spiritual liege was responded to with the head of the slain Hive Tyrant, on which was crudely scrolled an insulting cartoon of the Ultramarines' defense of Macragge, as well as a depiction of a male genitalia, and the message, "Still not as good as the head your mom gave me, you pompous fucking douchebag fucktard." Infuriated by such a blatant and insulting snub, Calgar personally took it upon himself to demand an apology from the arrogant Temperus Maximus. He subsequently traveled to the offender's battle barge's throne room in person. Unfortunately, he little expected the animalistic temperament that would greet his justified demand for an apology from Temperus Maximus. The exchange between the two soon escalated into an argument before coming to blows. The clash between two occurred behind closed doors, with no clue exactly what word were exchanged. Yet when the doors opened again, it was Calgar that was battered and bruised, with the sacred gauntlet of Ultramar torn from his shoulder. Only the wise counsel of the Inquisition prevented him from declaring immediate war against the unruly brethren. A war that would no doubt have cost the Imperium greatly before the the Angry Marines' inevitable victory. The story stands as a clear example of how the refusal to follow the Codex only promotes discord and strife between brothers. As to what occurred in the Angry Marine chamber, few can know. The only clue, perhaps the jeering cry made by the Angry Marines whenever they cross paths with the Ultramarines during campaigns. A nonsensical mantra of, stop hitting yourself, repeated indefinitely. What such a bizarre and crude chant could mean, a scholar could only guess at. Ultimately, it is telling of a less than exemplary mental nature of non-Codex Astartes. The next writings comes from the personal diaries of Brother Mongler for Chanic Combat Group. My chapter had landed on a barren little ball of rock called Vesvusium. The Inquisition had ordered us to the planet on suspicion of Chaos corruption. Surely enough, we ran into a group of Chaos Space Marines within a days of landing. The fools turning their back on the Emperor for whatever sick reward they received from the deceiving warp fiends. The battle started the second morning. Their attack was especially fierce, and my brothers and I had great trouble keeping them at bay. It seemed that for every one of them we killed, 3 more would show up. Our own losses were of no small concern. In a rare moment of calm, Brother Captain Morgan confided in me that if we were not killed by these berserkers, we would almost certainly be killed by the Inquisition for failure. As our numbers dwindled, I grew concerned. Surely we would all be killed, and the Emperor's work would not be carried out. We prepared for a final assault, one which had been coming for near a week of the most intense fighting I had ever seen. We surrounded a small hill, atop which stood our last dreadnought, Brother Clar. We saw their force coming from below. We knew this was our end. Suddenly, a shadow passed over us, some great demon come to finish us off. No, it was a drop pod. Out of it stepped a small company of our brethren. They wore bright yellow armor, a bizarre crest upon their shoulder, unlike any chapter I had yet heard of. A circle with 2 lines crossing it, and 2 dots in the middle, almost as if to suggest an angry face. They formed a line between us and the now charging Chaos Marines. The Chaos Marines' bright red armor shone in the late afternoon sun, the spikes upon their shoulders menacing. The new arrivals stood fast. As the distance between the 2 forces began to close, there arose from these yellow warriors the loudest scream I had ever heard. It shook the ground. Even through my helmet, it made my ears ring and my skull ache. And it simply kept getting louder as their captain's fists slowly rose into the air. As it rose to a nearly supersonic volume, I finally made out the words containing in the scream. Always angry. In a chorus louder even than the captain's scream, the soldiers returned. All the time. Then it began. Without a word, the yellow space marines returned to their drop pods and soon whisked away from the battlefield. There had been no more than a dozen of them, not a single word exchanged between our 2 chapters. To this day, I have never seen any marines fight with such fury and rage. The mass of enemy berserkers was reduced to mere chunks, legs, arms, heads, and crates full of blood. Bits of red armor lay throughout the battlefield. We had not even had the chance to advance by the time the screaming, both theirs and their enemies, was over. I turned to my captain and asked, "Who were they?" I had thought it was a rumor, but no. Emperor bless us all. Those were the Angry Marines. And those were 40 facts on the Angry Marines. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for sending this request our way. There's going to be a part 2 because there's more notable campaigns that the Angry Marines have gone into. If you guys have more suggestions, again, comment down below. Don't forget to put suggestion followed by whatever topic idea you want to talk about. And if you're interested in this chapter and you want to learn more, if you want to learn about that codex I was talking about, Google Angry Marines, and one of the top searches, just click on that and you can check out more on the Angry Marines and their codex there. Thank you again for everything that you guys do. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. By you guys liking the channel, it tells YouTube you want to watch more Warhammer 40k content, and they're going to give you guys more Angry Marines and more Space Marines. So again, don't forget to like, comment, and share on Facebook, Twitter, whatever you guys do. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.